I'm Commander Shepard, and the Unnamed Games podcast is my favorite podcast on the Citadel. Shepard out.
Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to episode 30 of the Unnamed Games podcast. I'm Craig, your usual host, and this week we've got some fun things to talk about. We're going to talk a bit about our first impressions of Outriders, some bit about MLB The Show, and also Xbox's new premium headset partnership. But before I move on, I'm going to introduce you to the panel. It's a bit different this week, and I'm going to get to him last, though. So first off, we have Mr. Alan Longfangs Howlett. How are you, my friend?
Sup?
Yeah, all right, boy.
Hi. Good to be here.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. We have Mr. Ratley Ratsner.
Oh, we are mighty! It must be in the house!
And we have the new and unknown face of Day One, Tommy Gunn. How are you, Tommy?
I'm absolutely phenomenal, boys. Thank you very much for having me.
Mate, you're welcome. It's lovely to have you on board.
Phenomenal.
Mate. So just
thank you for all the money you spent us for being able to join.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, for any other listeners, we do accept cash, checks, PayPal.
And favours in kind.
Yeah,
we expect hard cash. You can take the favours.
Yeah.
So, right, before we go anywhere, so obviously we normally go through and find out what everyone's been up to, but as Tommy is new onto the podcast, and as we've done before with previous guests, we want to get to know him a little bit. So, are you ready to be on the hot seat, Tommy?
I'll give it my best.
Oh, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Cool. Right. So, we ask. Well, first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. Just a bit. What sort of consoles you use, what kind of games you play, and then we're going to go into the infamous questions.
Fair enough. So I am an avid Xbox gamer. I have been for many years. I play all kind of, for me, the usual stuff. So Halo, Gears of War. I just play a mixture of everything, really, kind of whatever takes my fancy. I'm not going to lie, I'm not a football fan, so I don't start opening FIFA Ultimate Team cards or anything like that. That's not my bag.
Nah.
I'm more into nitty-gritty and get my face blasted away by aliens or other people with big shotguns. So, just the standard stuff.
Oh, good stuff. Cool. Right. So then let's get to the questions. So as everybody knows, when we have someone new on, we ask the three infamous questions. What is your favourite game? What's your favourite TV show? And your favourite movie? So let's start game first. Go, Tommy.
Game. It's not one particular game. It's a series. It's Halo. Halo for me is the sole reason I got an Xbox, and I've been playing a lot of it.
So
recently,
Combat Evolved then. Combat Evolved.
Combat Evolved, absolutely. But I will say probably my favourite out of them, which may be a bit controversial, is Halo 3 ODST. I've played through that very recently on Legendary with my brother, and I'll tell you what, it was absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. Favourite TV series now. I'm going to be the resident anime guy here for this week because he feels not here.
Yeah.
And I'll probably say at the moment, I'd probably say it is either Attack on Titan or Sword Art Online.
One that feel like
Sword Art. Then. Not no tentacle
Oh,
porn.
can we not get through an episode not talking about tentacle porn?
The door has been opened. The bell has been...
The listeners need to know. I mean, he talks about anime. I mean, you've got to ask. Hentai, bit of porn. I mean, come on, it's there.
Sorry, Tommy.
You've got a big collection of it, Alan. It's fine. We know Alan's got a big collection of it. It's absolutely fine.
I do. I'm always trying to sell some on. I've got too much. I'm running out of room.
Yeah, I'll private message you at the end of the pod, mate. It's absolutely fine.
Good.
And favourite film? Oh, it's a tough one, but what kind of thinking about, because it's my buzzer, it's going to be a bit of Top Gun. I think it's a brilliant film. Watched it numerous times. It's just, personally, for me, it's a great film.
Nice. Is it because you're inverted?
Oh, yeah. If you talk to me, Goose, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you can go back to, and it is complete trash, really. But it's so good at being complete trash that it's so brilliant, and it's so unashamed about what it is. I love that movie so much, even though I know it's not really a good film per se. It's just brilliant entertainment that doesn't do anything wrong and is so much fun.
I think the one scene that exemplifies the whole Top Gun scene has got to be the volleyball scene. That is Top Gun. That is what the film is all about. Bare-chested, muscly men sweating in the California. Is it California? In the sun. Yeah, playing a game of volleyball. That's what's
great segue. Moving on to our next segment, we're now going to pan over to the video of us all playing volleyball topless. So
let's come on, up at the top.
No, we won't put you through that, people. You
Nobody
do not
needs to
want to
see
see
that.
that. That is not good. So anyway, so let's find out what everyone's been up to this week. And I think it's only fair, as he is on his first week with us, and as he's the guest, we'll go to Tommy first. What have you been doing this week, mate? What have you been playing? What have you been watching? What's been going on?
So this week has been a bit of a mix. It has been some achievement hunting on Halo Master Chief Collection.
There's a lot of achievements to hunt.
Tell me about it. But I have finished playing the absolute masterpiece, which is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. That was the thing is, I've seen it for ages, and then it was on Game Pass. I went, "I'm going to install it." I started playing it, and the only way I can really describe it to people is like you're playing a film. It's like you are controlling a film. You're controlling what's going on, and like playing it with the headphones. Like anybody who's listening, it's a case of make sure you wear headphones because it is so immersive. I finished it, and I was like, it left me wanting more. So I cannot wait for Hellblade 2. That's going to be
totally.
TV series. I've just been catching up on my anime, so Attack on Titan. So I've got one more episode to watch before that's it until I think it's like August time or something or other. So been watching a bit of that. Obviously, I know I was going to try and catch up with some films, but with what I do, I don't really get much time to watch films nowadays.
Tommy, two jobs.
Yeah, it is Tommy two jobs.
Busy man.
Always a busy man. That's kind of really about. Apart from obviously, it's just those kind of things. Really, it's the gaming and the bit of anime.
Nice.
The rest of the time, I'm being 22 jobs.
Oh, mate, nice, cool. No, well, thanks for sharing that, mate. That's cool. So we're going to pan back over from the right, Mr. Ratley Ratster. What have you been up to, my man?
Well. So I've been playing some Outriders, which I think we'll have a discussion on later, so I won't touch on that. I've been playing a bit of Sea of Thieves as well, still enjoying that. That's good fun. But not a lot on the gaming front. I've watched a few movies, few series. I started on Invincible on your recommendation, Craig. I didn't catch yesterday's episode yet. I will watch that. Really enjoying it so far. It's like, because you said you put it in a group saying, "Has anyone seen Invincible?" Oh my god, I'm glad the kids weren't in the room for that. And I was like, "No, I haven't seen it." And a little bit of me was intrigued. I was like, "Well, whatever." And then I turned it on, and me and Alan both watched through the first episode. And like the end of it, it's just like a holy wonder.
Yeah.
What? Like there's this moment which is just like it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, we won't spoil it.
Like,
Spoil it, but you've got to. Yeah.
Oh my god! Like what the And I'm enjoying it. Yeah, it's not the best thing I've ever seen, but I am absolutely loving where it's going. The animation holds up really well. Mostly, there's a couple of waffy bits here and there, but it's really good fun. And then the other thing I've done is I last night I sat down and I watched Godzilla versus Kong. Ooh. So if you guys will indulge me, I'll give you a few thoughts on Godzilla versus
go for
Kong.
it, man.
Please do.
So we talked about this. We saw the trailer. I was super excited for this movie. Who doesn't love giant monsters punching each other in the face, right? And I can say this for Godzilla versus Kong. When the giant monsters are punching each other in the face or on screen having their fights, it's one of the most fun things you'll ever see. It's everything you want it to be, and then some. The CGI in this movie is beyond awesome. Like the special effects guys who did this it's next level. Like I genuinely can't sing their praises enough. Like what they've done in this film to bring Kong to life and Godzilla to life. Absolutely. Honestly, there's so many great interactions with them, and the way they think the battles are so epic. And I think one thing I really like about it is if you watch Pacific Rim, the first one, there's a real feeling of mass and weight to the robots and the kaijus. They really feel like these big things fighting each other, like these massive monsters. There's a real weight to everything they do. And Godzilla versus Kong has that. Now, if you watch Pacific Rim Uprising, the sequel to Pacific Rim, everything moves super lightning fast and it's like got no weight or presence. And that's why the movie just kind of doesn't feel right. It feels like Power Rangers to a degree. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
instead of like this real grounded, real fight. So it does that brilliantly right. Like the weight and the sort of impact of every punch can be felt. where Godzilla versus Kong falls apart in its entirety is anytime the monsters aren't fighting. The storyline, the human storyline that you have in it. Now, I will say, referencing Alan, he mentioned in Godzilla, the first movie, the human storyline is the bigger part of the movie and it's more central. And it really works in that film. I still think there wasn't enough Godzilla in Godzilla. But I do, know that you need the human element to be there and to be solid. Godzilla versus Kong, the human element is a gigantic mess. The Millie Bobby Brown stuff. I love Millie Bobby Brown. She's great. Why is she in this film? Her whole subplot is completely irrelevant and stupid. And I don't just mean stupid. I mean like, huh? Like, you just kind of go, so just without a real spoiler, there's a point where they break into a facility that's just been attacked. It's supposed to be under heavy guard, and they basically just walk in the front door at night. And you're like, huh? And then they get to a point where they sneak into a secret lab that has literally, no security, not even a fingerprint scanner, not even a door code, not even a padlock. Like, you're like, how? How?
I can see it now on the back of the box when it gets released on 4K Blu-ray. Chris Ratley, the Unnamed Games podcast. Huh? Done. Yeah.
Like, I'm all for suspending disbelief because the whole movie is dumb, right? The whole concept of the movie is dumb. But like, suspending disbelief doesn't mean you have to deal with stupidity and dumb writing. And the writing is awful whenever the humans are on screen for the most part. The little girl relationship with Kong is the only good human thing in the film, really. The rest of it is just cliche after cliche after cliche, like rubbish after rubbish. There's stuff that basically, if you took out all the Godzilla versus Kong bits and made one long video of that, it's a really fun watch. But all the other stuff is just rubbish. Yeah. And I do mean just bad rubbish. Like, if you didn't like the human stuff in Godzilla King of the Monsters, you're going to really hate all the human stuff in this film. If you really like the monster fighting in Godzilla King of the Monsters, you'll love when Godzilla and Kong face off. It's epic, like really genuinely epic. Things happen which cause like things. There's obvious sets up for more sequels. It'll be interesting to see where this goes, but this film is a disappointment in so many ways because it's just not a very good film, but it's a lot of fun, if that makes sense. Like, when Godzilla and Kong are fighting, you have a blast, but at every other point in this movie, like when they're not at each other's throats, so there's no monsters fighting, you'll just be sitting there going, what am I watching? This is drivel. Yeah. Like, it's just tripe. And like, not like Godzilla versus King of the Monsters, was tripe. Godzilla King of the Monsters was at least coherent. This doesn't feel coherent. Things just are all over the place. It feels like Millie Bobby Brown's character was just slapped in there to give continuity to that universe, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And she doesn't need to be there at all. I don't understand if I'm trying to bash her because it's not at all. It's just give her decent material because she's a great actress. Do something with those characters, something interesting.
Not shovel her. It just sounds like they just want to shovel her in there because she was in the first film and she brings a certain demographic. Yeah, so we've got to have Millie Bobby Brown. Yeah, exactly. She's big at the moment, so we've got to have her in there. But we don't really need to worry too much about actually making a story that's coherent. We just have to have her in there.
Yeah. She and it's one guy said it. It's like they watched an episode of Stranger Things at one point and went, "Oh, she's great in Stranger Things. Let's just write a bit of Stranger Things type stuff for her to do with her friends." And that's what you get, but it's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense, and it's just so terrible. Like,
sounds I'm like so a studio decision rather than a creative decision.
Well, I don't know, to be honest, mate. I think, to be honest with you, I think they did it on purpose. I just think it's terribly written. Like,
but that's what I mean. I think it's a studio saying, let's get something like this because this is hot at the moment, and this will help with it. You know what I mean?
Maybe, but like, it is just terribly written. Like, I'm talking the whole thing. Like, the whole reason Kong and Godzilla fight is the only sensible bit about it. But even then, the way they force that interaction is just lame. Like, it's so lame.
Right, and I'm going to put you on the spot. Go on. If you had to give it a score out of 10, where would you reckon you'd land on it? Because obviously you've been like a
it's really difficult to score this movie because it's got as a complete movie. If you talk about it as a coherent working film, it's about a 6 out of 10, maybe even a 5.5 out of 10. It's just not a good film, truthfully. As a piece of entertainment, if you want to sit down and watch Godzilla and Kong beat the crap out of each other and some cool stuff like that, and there are a few other monsters that show up here and there, which I won't say anything about. It's a brilliant piece of entertainment. It's one of the finest things you'll see. Like, as a tech demo for what special effects can achieve, I mean, that's not make it a good movie experience, but that sequences where they're fighting, it's phenomenal. It's some of the best I've seen. That would be like a 9 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. It's absolutely brilliant. But like a good comparison would be Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim works because when the monsters are fighting, which is actually a very small percentage of the film, you're like, oh my God, this is so brilliant. Look at the giant robots fighting the giant monsters. And then you have all the human stuff, which is a bit corny and cheesy, but at least it makes somewhat sense. Godzilla versus Kong is the same sort of, oh my God, this is so brilliant when they're fighting, which is, again, a small percentage, maybe a quarter of the film is monsters fighting. And then every other thing in it is like, what the? But it doesn't make any sense. And it's just a mess. And the writing is just awful. So, would
you put it in the middle between the two then? Like a 7 out of 10, do you reckon then? Does the CGI and the fighting outweigh the poor story, or is it way
So you wait too long for the fights most of the time. Like the first encounter happens about 35 minutes into the film, I think, which is not too bad. But then there is just this massive gap where nothing happens for ages, and that just whole part is just drivel. So it really drags the movie down. Like it got to a point where I was like, why am I watching this? Like it's that bad at points, genuinely. And again, not to sound harsh, but every time Millie Bobby Brown shows up, I was like, oh, please, not her again. Not this whole subplot. It's just awful. There's another slightly better subplot, but because she's like Team Godzilla and Team Kong have another thing going on, which is also nonsense. But
so okay, let me put it a different way then.
I will go 6.5 out of 10 overall because it's so dragged down by such rubbish dialogue. And I wanted to love this movie. I wanted this to be another Pacific Rim that I could just go, because Pacific Rim is a proper like, I'm going to stick Pacific Rim on because I love that film. I can always watch it. Yeah. Whereas Godzilla versus Kong would feel like a chore to get to the good bits. Like I would find myself skipping to the fights and not watching anything else. Whereas I can watch Pacific Rim for all its cheesy goodness. I might skip bits here and there, but I can watch it as a whole movie. I don't think I could sit through Godzilla versus Kong multiple times without trying to punch someone.
For your droves of followers, would you say to them, it's worth $15.99 to rent, or don't do it?
God no. God no. Well, yeah. I mean, if it was a £7 cinema ticket and you've got time to kill, I'd say yeah, it's a good way to spend £17. £16 if it's a family thing, maybe. But like if it's just you on your own, I would wait for a cheap release of it, like reduced price or an offer, or go onto a streaming service. Genuinely disappointed. As coming from somebody who loved Godzilla, loved Skull Island, loved King of Monsters, to get to this point, I'm just kind of going rubbish. Sure. It's just such a disappointment.
Brilliant. Well, no, it's good to have your honest opinion of it, mate. Yeah, hopefully people will find that helpful. So cool. Anything else you got that you're getting on, or should we move on to Alan?
I think that's me done, really. I can't think of anything at the minute. Yeah, I'm sure there is something, but I always forget something.
No, great stuff. Thanks, Ratley. So Mr. Allen, what have you been up to, my man?
Well, I didn't watch Godzilla, but I did watch, again, it was the same thing that Ratley was talking about was, obviously you came on the WhatsApp and said, watch Invincible. And so I went, okay, I'll give that a punt. And I have to say to people, if you've got, I think it's 54 minutes, it might be slightly less, actually, the first episode. Just watch the first episode and see what you feel. And I agree with what Chris said. I think that there is a scene or a couple of scenes in the second episode that are probably on level with that oh my god moment in the first one. But in the third and fourth episodes, I've already watched the one from this week. They're good, but neither of them had that wow that first episode had and the second. It's entertaining. Yes, it's really good, but neither of them had that next level. And I know we talked a couple of weeks ago about, or maybe even last week, my memory's getting a bit hazy as I get older, but we're talking about, I was saying about more adult content in superhero stuff. And this is exactly what Invincible delivers in those first two episodes. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil it. But then you get to like the third and fourth episodes, and that isn't there, but it's still entertaining in a good fun way. It's certainly not bad. It just doesn't have that next level, but we'll wait and see how it goes. I'm still very invested and very interested to see where it goes. I also watched the next episode of Winter Soldier last night. I didn't enjoy the episode, to be honest, as much as I have the previous two. There was a lot of it was just they're expecting me to believe a lot that there's this massive city full of criminal underworld, and I'm like, what, in a world full of superheroes, really? It's some of it just seems just ridiculous, and I was just a little bit like, yeah. But it's still good fun, and I'm enjoying it. But I was less impressed with this episode. I also started to watch on Netflix The Irregulars. I don't know whether you've seen this. Yeah,
No,
this is.
It's been on my radar though.
Yeah, it's absolute tripe, in my opinion. I watched 2 episodes and I can't get that time back. And after having a nearly fatal heart, I've never been more upset about losing an hour and a half of my precious lifetime.
There's another box quote again.
Such amount of drivel.
Tripe.
I think that what they're trying, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can tell they've spent a lot of money on this. They've put a lot of moolah into it. The costumes, the setting, the special effects, for the most part. There's a couple of dodgy ones in the first episode with the Birdman, but generally overall, you can see they've put a bit of cash into this. Even the guy that plays Watson, and I apologise, I can't remember the actor's name, but he played one of the key characters in The Witcher, and he was great in that. But he just doesn't seem to fit this role. I don't know whether it's bad direction or whether he just doesn't really understand the character. But overall, it seems to me that they're trying to emulate almost an essence of the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes films. They're trying to make it a bit more modern, a bit steampunky, and then they've got like rap tracks and rock music playing sometimes in the background. And in the second episode, they talk about clones, and it's like, clones? This is Victorian England. They didn't even have the word clone. It didn't exist. What are you talking about, you bloody idiots? So it's almost like they're trying to push the boundaries. For me personally, I think the writing is lazy. It's unoriginal, and I'm sorry to say, but and I'm not going to pick out specific actors, but I felt the acting was subpar, whether that's down to bad direction, and quite frankly, the episodes were poorly paced and just bad. I didn't enjoy the stories, I didn't enjoy the acting, I didn't enjoy pretty much anything about it other than some of the visuals. I just thought it was pants. Right. And I've stopped at 2 episodes. I really want to watch the remaining 4 to actually give credence to my accusations of complete pantsdom. But I'm not sure I want to waste another 3 hours of my precious lifetime doing that, because so far I feel I've wasted enough of it already on what is complete tripe. My opinion.
I'm not going to ask you for a
score. I'm not going to hold back. No. I mean, the score is 0, quite frankly. Don't waste your time, in my opinion. Make your own opinion. Watch the trailer. But to be honest, if you've watched the first episode and you're not blown away, don't waste any more precious lifetime on it.
I'm one of these people that, unfortunately, like, unlike you, Alan, if I start something, I kind of almost always see it through just to see if I'm being unfair to it. Like I did the same with Another Life on Netflix, Katie Sackhoff's thing. And the first 2/3 or 3/4 of that series is just awful, and then like in the last 2 or 3 episodes it comes to life and it starts to get quite good, and then the series and I'm like, and it got a second series. I'm like, how on the strength of that series? Don't get me wrong, I will say the last 2 or 3 episodes are very good, but it takes far too long to get very good, and everything before it is tripe. Like, you know, and I was like, I put myself through it, and I can't decide if I'm happy or sad that I did, because I say I got 3 great episodes, good episodes of TV out of it, but I had to watch 8 of absolute drivel, you know. And it's like, and then just when it gets interesting, they cut the legs out of it. And I hate series do that. They get to that point, you know. And don't get me wrong, I know everyone has a cliffhanger, but you should have an interesting series which ends on a cool cliffhanger. And I think a great example, I always go back to it, is Battlestar. The first series of Battlestar is really interesting all the way up to the end, and then the cliffhanger at the end of season 1 is like a oh my god cliffhanger. And I know watching Star Trek season 3, and season 3 is where Star Trek Next Generation, comes to life. And Star Trek season 3 goes all the way through, and it's like exciting. And then the ending is the Borg cliffhanger. And I just remember being like, ah! Like that was just a great moment from a really good season of television. But it didn't it didn't feel like a slog to get to it. And I think I know exactly what you mean, Alan. But I'm a little bit of me wants to see how bad it really is after that fantastic review, Alan. I've got to be honest.
I mean, go for it. I mean, you know, it's your life to live. But you know, I was decidedly unimpressed. So also I would like to mention, because this has been mentioned to me, this is not fat. This is not a glass of fat from the Friends episode. It's actually a banana and coconut smoothie for my healthy lifestyle. Just want to point that out for anybody watching it on YouTube. Because it was mentioned by some of my fellow podders. Oh, you're drinking a glass of fat. I'm
I thought it
really
was
not.
Good.
Bailey's, honestly, mate.
Yeah.
It's a good Friends reference, that.
That's what they prescribe for heart medication when you've had a heart attack. Big pint glass of Bailey's. That'll sort you out.
I was like, Jesus Christ, I know it's the weekend, but a pint of it, Jesus.
Also, what I've been up to this week. So obviously the healthy lifestyle. So far this week, I've walked 25 miles.
Well done, mate.
Which is
Right,
4
that's
miles,
impressive. Well
4
done,
miles
bud.
further than the English Channel, which is 21 miles. So I'm somewhere past Calais at this point, or I could turn back. I'm not sure. So yeah, that's going well. What else? Oh yeah, gaming. Let's talk about gaming. After all, it is a games podcast, right? So obviously, I've been spending a lot of time on my current top game, which unfortunately is not Ark at the moment, but I will be going back. But Terraria. So I've just beaten the 3 mechanical bosses. For anybody who knows about Terraria. You guys are all shaking your head because you haven't got a clue. Exactly the same when you were talking about anime. But yeah, so I've defeated the 3 mechanical bosses, and I'm actually building a biome area so I can have some corruption on my Crimson World. Yeah, you've got no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it sounds
But anyway. Yeah, it is cool. It is cool. I'm really enjoying it. But I've also been playing a bit of ESO with my good Baldy friend, Mr. Lata. We've been going on our adventures. And yes, we are going to be talking about this in a bit. I have touched my little toe into the water of Outriders. I didn't play the demo, so this is the first time for me. I'd like to say I played more. We certainly tried.
Let's go into it. Let's go into that when we
but
get to
I've
it.
only played a little bit. We'll talk about that in the next bit. But that's what I've been up to.
Have you not got anything to add for us? What your weeks look like, Craig?
I was going to. I was going to go next. So I'm going from right to left today. So I'm going to go in last here. So I'll tell you one thing I've watched. So I may have mentioned before on the podcast, I got the Now TV trial to watch the Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and I still haven't cancelled it yet because there's loads of films on there I want to watch. So I am paying for it now, which is fine. It's not a huge amount of money, and actually, if there's a whole bunch of stuff I want to watch, things like King of the Monsters, I never got to see that, and that's sitting on there ready to go. But I watched the other night. I watched Men in Black International, right? And I thought, I've heard not great things about it. I've always enjoyed the Men in Black films. They're really quite geeky and funny and just silly films, really. And so I thought, I'm going to stick it on, and just see how it goes. And I've got to say, I got to the end of that, I really enjoyed it. Like, I don't quite see what all of the fuss, how bad it was. I really enjoyed it. It was just like a normal Men in Black film. Like,
sorry, mate. It's Alan's mug.
Oh yeah. Did you only just notice that?
Twice you've done it. As twice you've done it, I've had to keep it straight.
You've got more self-control than Ratley.
Sorry for our listeners who are listening to the pod and not watching the pod.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what it's. Well, actually, it says "F you effing F" on my mug.
Ratley's dead.
It was brilliant. As you're making this point, and Alan just slowly raises the mug up and slowly drinks it.
Anyway.
Thank you. Please go back to your intensive and thorough review, Craig.
I can't remember what I was saying now. Men in Black, Men in Black International. I quite enjoyed it. I don't know if any of you boys have seen it or not. Have you watched it or?
No,
I haven't.
I heard generally bad things about it. I think I watched the first one and the second one, and then I don't think I even watched the third one, to be honest. I never got around to watching that one.
I got to 3, watched 3, and I was like, this is just tripe.
Yeah, it's definitely better than 3 by far. I would say it's sort of in between 1 and 2, really. I really quite enjoyed it. I thought the characters were quite good. It was fun. And I think it's one of those films, I quite like watching a film that's had these sort of not great reviews, because I go in with such low expectation for a kind of a fun film like this that I end up quite liking it. And that happened for me. It happened to me with Batman versus Superman, like the normal theatrical cut. Because the theatrical cut it's not great. I mean, it's a good film, but it's not great. It's far better when you watch the Ultimate Edition. But actually went to the cinema, I came out of it and went, you know what? I quite liked that. I quite enjoyed it. It was nowhere near as bad as I thought it was going to be. So I'd actually say give it a chance. It was all right. Yeah, quite enjoyed it.
Okay.
Obviously, won't go on. Bit of Outriders, been playing that. Bit of Elder Scrolls Online. I'm trying to think what else. We watched back through the Justice League again for the second time, and actually my wife watched it this time with us as well, because I sat down and watched it with the kids, and I I enjoyed it just as much the second time round, but I think it's very much, it's really highlighted to me that it should have been trimmed down a bit. There's a lot of little sections. It's just too much going. It's just too much going on. It's suffered from under editing rather than over editing. It's gone completely the wrong way. But still, really, really enjoyed it. I think that's kind of it really. So not massive. I've had a lot going on at home with my son's birthday and things going. It's been mad, so I've not had a lot of time to myself. So maybe I'll have more going on next week. So anyway,
no, he's 13. He's 13 now, Craig. You've got no spare time.
Yeah,
carrying him around. And...
Yeah, well, not at the moment, not in a pandemic.
Well,
just
it'll be over soon, hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. Right. Well, thank you very much, guys. So we're going to move on to some talking points of the news this week. So I think we're all chomping at the bit to talk about the new game that's been released this week onto Game Pass, may I add, which is Outriders. So I think we want to.
Didn't we have a question from somebody?
Yeah, we certainly do. Yeah, we're going to go to that at the end. So we can talk about Outriders. So I think first off, I'm going to go to Tommy. Have you played the Outriders? I can't remember. Did you say you've tried? No, you've played the demo, haven't you?
Yeah, I played the demo, and I kind of tried to go into it with a completely clear mind in case of this is going to be. A lot of people said, it's the Destiny Slayer, this, that, and the other, and I tried to kind of separate that, just trying to go with clear mind and going, do you know what? Playing the demo, I really, really enjoyed it. Like visually, it looks absolutely stunning. The combat mechanics, like it's the way I probably would class it. It's kind of like, to me, is hide behind the cover. I'm thinking Gears of War and a bit of Mass Effect kind of mixed together slightly to a certain degree. But I installed the full game last night through the Game Pass app, so I'm looking forward to be able to play a bit of it kind of later on tomorrow. But from what I've played of it so far, it seems really, really good. Also, I know some of you boys are saying that you've been trying to play it and it's been the servers. What would you say? It's like it's a bit fragile, should we say? It's a bit fragile.
They've had a couple of minor technical issues.
I think
Rome is burning down around them.
Yeah. I think the official tweet actually said we're about to do the mother of all turn it off and on agains to try and get the servers fixed. So yeah.
Something has gone horribly wrong.
That must be just for the sheer fact that people kind of go, right, it's on Game Pass from day one, everyone's just going to smash the servers hard. And it's one of those things that kind of makes me kind of think, it's like, you've got this game and it's getting a lot of great reviews, a lot of people want to play it. It's kind of going back to, for me, it's kind of like going back to Halo Reach when the beta come out for that on Xbox 360. And literally it's a case of, right, I'm gonna jump on, I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so the pizza that I ordered is stone cold.
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of sit here really.
Yeah. Login screen simulator.
That in itself would make a mint right now.
Yeah.
But no, from what I've been able to play of it, the mechanics and all that, it seems a really solid game. I'm looking forward to kind of getting further in depth with it. Obviously, I know Chris was saying before we started that he's got a bit further along and the combat gets a lot more interesting. I personally think for me, the shooting enemies to get your health back, that's a pretty unique mechanic. So basically, I'm going to kill you and I'm going to get health from it. Yeah. So just die.
Yeah, it's quite an incentive, isn't
it? The incentive is you don't die. You're practically immortal if you kill somebody. So you just basically case of there's a choice. I'm either going to die or you're going to die, and I pick you. You're going to die.
Quality stuff. Cool. All right.
Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Good man. Nice one. Well, I'm going to go onto Ratley next. Okay, because I know. I'm going to go onto Ratley because I know he's got some real things to say about this. And then we'll get into that real peak now. So.
Well, Alan might want to chip in his bit because he's got less experience than I can give all
Well, yeah, okay, fair enough. Let's go to Alan first.
I'll jump in here then, okay, and I just want to comment on that. Craig wasn't saying that you didn't have anything real to say, Tommy. I think that sentence came out slightly wrong. So, just to clear that up. I've not played as much of Outriders as I perhaps would like. and we managed about an hour and a half due to the server issues, and we probably spent a further hour watching the loading screen simulator. I picked the Trickster class. I didn't play the demo, as I was saying earlier on. So this is the first time I've played it. Overall, first impressions, I really liked the graphics. I thought the graphics were very nice, very tasty. Some really nice sort of like graphical touches. And I was just going to talk.
Oh, we might have lost him.
Typical is that.
That's all right. We might be back. If not, I can always jump in and take my bits. But I think it looks like he's back. Here we go. We've got some spinning things. Here he is.
I was just going to talk about the cover mechanic. So, it teaches you this cover mechanic, and within literally 20 seconds, it was absolutely useless because I myself essentially finding that hiding behind cover and poking your head out and shooting with these special abilities that I had made the special abilities completely freaking useless. Now, don't get me wrong, gunplay was really good, and you could use the cover, but you're really limiting yourself if you don't immediately ignore the cover completely and go running at the enemy like a complete banshee screaming at the top of your lungs. Yeah, and I played the Trickster class, as I said, and it's got some great sort of like moves where you can, I've only got the first two special abilities, but the third one was to kind of get this sword, and it basically, they kind of turn into like some sort of electrical skeleton and then dissolve to the ground, and you get given shield. So the more of the bad guys you kill, you keep your shield constantly up and you're not taking damage. So it makes sense to not sit there behind cover and actually get out there and kick some butt face to face. I really enjoyed that. So much so far of the story. I thought the story was really interesting. That I don't want to give anything away, but as far as when it started out, and then you kind of had this period of time when you come back into the game and you start to get the powers. So I think that's explaining it as loosely as I can. I thought that was a really good touch, and I thought that was made me really interested in the story and the planet and where things were going. I think we were talking earlier on, weren't we, Chris? We were talking about the fact that it isn't quite like something like Destiny or Division, where it's you're just going to constantly play it over and over again. There is a story to play through, and if that story keeps at the same level as what I've seen so far, then I'm invested to play it all the way through with you guys and continue to enjoy the experience when I can get on.
Yeah, that's the main issue, I think, for me as well. It's just been I've tried very, very hard. I tried this morning for about an hour to play it with a friend, and I think through that hour I got about 10 minutes of play. The rest was just sitting at a login screen. It just keeps disconnecting. It won't connect in. But it's one of those things. It's coming to Game Pass. There's lots and lots of people using it, and we know it's just
it shows the amount of people who are actually, I think, in some ways are now on the Game Pass. Because it's kind of like something game like this. Oh, we're releasing it on Game Pass, and it gets totally swamped because everybody downloads it because Game Pass it's got such a large customer base now. And I don't know how these companies need to deal with this issue. There is something that needs to be done to resolve this, because this is not the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last. And it's not a great experience, especially when you are trying to tell people how great your game is and you spent all this time and nobody can even get on to play it. They certainly need to do something about it. And I think the excuse of, because it's gone to Game Pass, is a little bit thin. They should have seen that coming, and they should have done something about it. But we're kind of in this area where Game Pass is becoming this big monster where there's literally millions of people on it, and there are when a game like this of this high profile moves across to Game Pass, immediately they may not have the infrastructure in place to deal with that, because these deals happen quite quickly sometimes. This was only announced a couple of weeks ago, if not last week, wasn't it? So maybe they weren't even prepared for such a high volume of traffic for when this game was released, and everybody on Game Pass said, right, I'll have a piece of that. So
I think in terms of I'm not going to talk too much about the game itself, because I'll just be going over points that everyone else has made. Really, I'm pretty much in agreement with you. But talk more about the server capacity and the server issue side of things. And I think it's a fundamental issue across the board. It doesn't matter what publisher, what developer that puts a game out. I cannot remember the last time I've put on an online game on the day of release and it worked. It just doesn't happen. You might be lucky to get on for a bit, you get kicked out. Even when new DLC lands, the most recent being, for example, Beyond Light on Destiny. I played Destiny 2. That came out the first day that launched. It was just absolutely slam-packed. And I think it's fundamentally an issue with the way that network architecture is designed within servers. Now, I don't profess to know details about this kind of stuff, but it seems very much we're limited by the technology that's available at the moment. And I think we're going to be in this kind of position until you get that very key moment where a new piece of technology comes in within network architecture that can scale a lot more dynamically servers and be able to kind of get things running a lot smoother. And I don't think it's through lack of preparation as such for any of these companies, or because if it's like a division patch, for example, and you could be able to tell by history, okay, usually when we drop a new bunch of DLC, we get a 200% uplift, and you could get ready to scale your servers, but surely they would know these types of things and they would get stuck in with it. And I think it is just an issue where they just can't scale them properly, and it's a technology thing. So hopefully in the future we'll see it a bit better. But let's go on to Mr. Ratley.
Well, I mean, obviously echoing what everyone else has said, the game's hella fun. Let me start there, right? When I'm in the game and I'm playing the game, I'm having just a whale of a time. The gunplay's great. It only gets better, by the way. The better the guns get, the more fun the guns get. It just gets better and better and better in that respect. Like, some of the later on abilities on guns are just really cool. I mean, I'm level 21 on one of my characters now. That's my trickster, actually. And I've got two others at like level 12, level 13. So I've played quite a lot. The guns get really, really fun, and the abilities you get as well. Like, some of the later abilities on the Trickster Island, you're going to love some of these. Like one, for example, you get it's like a get out of jail like emergency card. So you plonk a spot on the floor, which is like a temporal vortex, and then you run around, do your thing, killing things. And if you find yourself in hot water, you just push the button, it goes whoop, and just whips you back to that position instantly.
Oh, nice.
Which is really cool, right? So what you can do, one thing that I've seen done is comboing it with there's an ability called Hunt the Prey, which will be the next one you unlock, Alan, which you basically target an enemy in distance, zap to behind them, murder them, and then zap back using the other ability. So you kind of go in, out, like target assassination almost. So there's some stuff like that which is just like hella fun, right? So you could combo it, for example, you've got the blade, right, Alan? You were talking about that. You jump in, blade them, jump back, and it's just like, it is like so much fun. So there's that really cool stuff that does that. And like, I've got a gun, my assault rifle they get 2 slots when you get to purple, so 2 talents. And the first talent is freezing bullets. So I shoot things, they freeze. Okay. The next talent is if I shoot something that's frozen and kill it, it explodes in a massive damage explosion, hurting everything around it. So you start comboing stuff like that, and and you can and like, again, there's one of the classes, the pyromancer, freezes stuff. Not pyromancer, sorry, the technomancer freezes stuff, and it's like, that's cool. And so you can combo all that sort of stuff as a team. So there's so many really cool things about the game that I'm enjoying, and it's a scratching that itch. So again, it gets compared to Destiny a lot. It gets compared to Gears a lot, and it gets compared to other looter shooters. And I think it's doing the looter shooter so well at the minute. Like, I pick up loot, and if it's purple, it's almost always interesting. Even if I'm not going to use it on the character I'm playing, I go, well, that talent would work really well on this class. Or there's very few talents so far I'm like, I'm not sure about that. They've all got a place somewhere depending on how you build and the talents you use. So I'm quite impressed about that. There's also like fun when you get into the crafting stuff. You guys haven't touched on that yet, where you've got different. So let's say you got assault rifles. Assault rifles don't just come in assault rifle flavor. They come in standard, tactical, and sharpshooter. And a sharpshooter assault rifle is a single shot assault rifle. You just keep spam the trigger to shoot. The tactical is a burst fire assault rifle, and then the standard is just do full auto. And each one has relative perks and things to the damage stat, or whatever it is, to make it more balanced. So you can play. There's so much play style within a play style, if you know what I mean. I'm really impressed with what they've put down. I'm really unimpressed with how well it works at the moment. And that's the issue. Like, it's not just the server stuff. The game is definitely more wobbly than it ever was on the demo. There are things that just are a bit wobbly and things, but it's also made some significant improvements, like turning off motion blur was, thank you.
And the camera shake within the cutscenes.
Smoothing is just like, thank you. So what I like, though, is that they haven't gone radio silent. They're constantly talking to people saying, look, we're really sorry, we're working on it, we're looking at this, we're doing this. The communication is constant and solid. I feel for them because they've made a brilliant product. At the minute, it's just a bit broken. But I can see that, like Alan said, I'll spend some time in here. I'll finish it up. I'll do the after campaign stuff, get my legendaries, and I'll have a rest until they drop some DLC. And I kind of like that. I like that it's not just another pull you in and keep you here forever game. It's a game they want you to play and have an absolute blast with, and then maybe try a different class.
Yeah.
And I realize
one of the key things I was going to say, just kind of going back slightly on one of your other points to do with the crafting, and I think that's really indicative of how this is a completely different game from something like Destiny and like the Division. So, for example, the Division with the crafting, it's sort of limited in the way that you can change one perk out on a piece of gear, but then you can't change any of the other perks. And it's designed to go, right, you just need to farm and farm and farm loads and loads of gear to eventually get that piece of gear that you really want by adapting and changing things. Whereas with this, they've not put all those limitations on it. You can chop and change things out left, right and centre, because I've got a little bit to the crafting, and it seems a lot more accessible. You break a gun down, it throws that into your little pot of abilities that you can throw on, and it really seems like it is designed to just go, just build up something ridiculously powerful and have great fun with it, which is great.
Yeah, there is still limitations. Like when you get to the guns with 2 slots, you can only change one of the slots, which is fine because you'll generally only want to change one of the slots because you'll pick a gun that's got a talent you like or synergize with your build and then make it better. You can up the damage stats and the inherent abilities on the guns there, which is nice, and on all your gear as well. So there's loads to like about the game. I think they've done crafting better than almost any other looter shooter I've seen. The loot is interesting. The guns all feel very different. Shotguns in this game feel so good, especially on Devastator. Get yourself a beastie shotgun and get in there. That Devastator rinses with a hardcore shotgun. So much fun. And again, going back to the point about cover, like Alan raised, there's so many people I see complaining that like they're getting killed because they're staying in cover. It's like the one of the taglines to the game is "Cover is for cowards." And they've said, the cover isn't there for you as a player. You're a demigod. The cover is there for the NPCs to try and save them from you.
Such a great spin. I love it.
It's such a great reversal on the normal sort of cover system, right? And it's like, and when you start really embracing that and just getting in it, and using your abilities to keep yourself alive, like you can just hang in the fight hard. Like my Trickster, I've not gone for the in and out sort of approach. I'm like, stick the bubble down, here's some abilities, let's go for it, and just toe to toe them, have it, and I'm having a blast with it, absolute blast. So I mean, some of the enemies you face later, I won't spoil stuff, but like some of the boss fights are mean. I mean, like mean. And there's the monster hunts, and you unlock them. They're hella fun. Monster hunts are great. It's just a little side quest, big monster, go kill it.
Nice.
Good loot out of them, nice thing. And that's the other thing, like, so talking about like comparing it to another one, Anthem, the loot has been fantastic everywhere I go. Whereas Anthem's got an issue where it doesn't give you enough loot. This is possibly maybe giving you too much at points. If you're doing a lot of side quests, I'm full of inventory again. Let's deconstruct some stuff. But again, that's not a problem because it's still worth doing, So I'm absolutely loving it at the minute. Cool. But when I can play it, put it that way.
So I'm looking forward to logging in at some point.
Hopefully we can hopefully they've got some of it sorted and we can play some later on today. Greg.
I think you guys are going to have a blast with it once we get going. I really do.
Good stuff. Cool. Right. Well, thanks for that, boys. So move on to our next point that we have on the agenda. So a little while back we had an announcement. This is a few months back that MLB The Show, which has always been a PlayStation exclusive title. There's never been a kind of a decent baseball game that's come to the Xbox before. And basically, it seems that the MLB themselves said, we will only give you the license, Sony, to make this game again if you put it out onto more platforms because we want to broaden our horizon. So Sony were kind of forced to then put it out onto things like the Xbox. But there's another stage to this. It's slightly changed. Mr. Ratley, what's happened that is quite historic in terms of a Sony game?
So Sony aren't just releasing it multi-platform. So we'll go to Switch as well, just to be clear, which is great. Sony are now putting MLB The Show 21 day one onto Xbox Game Pass. So any Xbox Game Pass customers will get MLB The Show included. So that's now two non-first party AAA title or AA, AAA, whatever you want to call it, top flight titles on Game Pass day one. And there's still this bubbling rumor of Ubisoft in the background as well to think about with Game Pass. So if that happens, oh my God, Game Pass, right? But this is inherent of how Microsoft are trying this generation and what Microsoft's model is, right? Microsoft aren't about selling you a box. So all these people talking about how Sony is selling more boxes than Microsoft. Microsoft don't care. They know
Microsoft
this.
Are killing it.
Yeah. In 6 months or a year, when Microsoft have got all these titles on Game Pass and you're paying your $10 a month, whatever it is, to play Game Pass, you know, and you're getting all these games, people are going to be like, why am I buying $70 PlayStation games every time? And the console at the same money. And like I said to you, Craig, like you talk about casual gamers, people who might pick up, like imagine if they put FIFA onto Game Pass Day One, which it won't happen because FIFA's a license to print money. But you know, imagine that, right? And just imagine if they did that, like 250 quid for a Series S, and you can play FIFA for £10 a month and any other games you want as well. It's mega.
Yeah, yeah.
If you're gaming,
I think all they need,
it's ridiculous.
Talking about FIFA, even if they just chucked on, I don't know, every month you got free Ultimate, is it FIFA Ultimate Team, isn't it? Yeah, the Ultimate Team. You got a free Ultimate Team pack. People chomp at the bit, don't they, to open those packs and get new players or whatever. I don't really play it myself, but I'm not much of a sports fan. But yeah, you're totally right. Things like that. They got
again, I'm saying about this MLB though, I couldn't give a monkey's personally. No. It's good for the service. It's good for gamers. Great for Microsoft, and it will do wonders for the game as well. You know, the game will have more players, and if the game is cross-play, for example, that's only a good thing. You know, like so if you have chosen, say, I mean, like Outriders is a great example because it's fully cross-play. I mean, they've got some problems with it at the moment. But let's just say that in, you're a PlayStation owner, and a load of PlayStation owners I know started to talk about boycotting the title because of the fact that it was $70 on PlayStation, and Xbox gamers were getting it for free. But it's not free; it's a charge service. But you know what I mean? They weren't having to pay the upfront fee for it. That means that if you are a PlayStation gamer who wants to play Outriders, and none of your friends are going to buy it because of the the controversy around the cost, you can still team up with Xbox gamers or PC gamers and still have that experience. So cross-play is a big thing as well. So if this is cross-play. MLB The Show, it's just good for PlayStation players. It's more people to play with or play against. I don't know how it works, whatever, but this is a good thing. It's just a great thing. Populates more games. It gives more people things, And if you decide the game's worthwhile and want to buy it, you get a discount.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Funnily enough, I was actually on Twitter a little while back, and I ended up following someone on Twitter, and I can't remember what I think somebody else I knew followed them, and they were making some quite interesting gaming points and some interesting games. It was like a Samurai Cat or something like that. I can't remember. But it turns out later down the line, I realised that it was like an Uber PlayStation fanboy, and started getting all of these like hashtags coming up. And this hashtag that these fanboys are trying to get going is cancel Game Pass.
Yep.
What? So obviously, it's causing some real waves within the fanboy community over Sony. They're feeling the pain on it.
It's crazy that that people like this whole cancel Game Pass. We've had so many reports from developers saying how Game Pass is great for them, has helped them, has given them freedom to make different games, has earned them money when they wouldn't have got money before, new players, more players, all this kind of stuff. And yet everyone goes, Game Pass is bad for gaming, for both creators and gamers. It's like, in what world is this bad for gaming? I've played games I never would have touched. Never would have touched.
Yeah, totally, mate. Yeah, I want to go over to Tommy next, and just, I mean, this MLB baseball, is that anything that you'd ever play? But it might not be, might be. But I mean, your thoughts on the whole Game Pass situation as a whole, really?
Well, MLB in general, I don't really play sports games; it's not my cup of tea. But it is very interesting to see that, obviously, a Sony exclusive is coming to Xbox on Game Pass. And it's going to be day one, isn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, day one.
Yeah, so day one. So that in itself is a case of you've got to kind of realise, like, Microsoft's kind of their business model for Game Pass is absolutely brilliant. It's like it's top notch, and as you say, like the whole kind of fanboys going, "Oh, cancel Game Pass." No one's going to cancel Game Pass because it's such great value for money. As you say, Outriders, MLB, and there'll be just more and more titles jumping on board, and with obviously like xCloud and stuff like that, is making the game more accessible to a lot of people. So it's a case of if you've got obviously like hardcore like Xbox like fanboys, fangirls, whatever, they're thinking, do you know what? I love baseball. I want to do this, do that, and it's a case of right. What do I do? Do I get a secondary? Do I get a PlayStation just to play that? But obviously, it's a case of they don't need to worry about that. They're going to get it on day one. It's a case of they haven't got to shut out, I don't know, like 300-400 quid or whatnot for obviously PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, whatever. It's a case of they can get it, and it's just more accessible, and that's only a good thing. And as you guys were saying, it's a case of the game creators and the devs and all that. They're seeing the benefit of what Game Pass is a service. They're getting that additional cash. They're having the freedom to do it, and it makes sense. It makes like commercial and business sense to be a case of, do you know what? You've got this great, awesome service that's getting a lot of traction. We'll be crazy not to put our game on this service, because if we just limit it to one particular platform, they're basically just shooting yourself in the foot and kind of going, we've made this amazing game, only one lot of people can play it, and there's all this big fan base on this other side that we're just not going to touch. But now that's not a thing. It's just, I personally think that later on in the months and the years, bits and pieces, we're going to start seeing more and more exclusive titles from, say, Sony start kind of jumping onto Game Pass. To say not everything will, not to say everything will, but we'll probably start to see that, you know what, things past might be a case of, oh, hold on, that used to be on Sony, but now it's on Game Pass. I just personally think that's how it's going to kind of roll. And as I say, I still think it's one of the reasons why I personally think Game Pass is, it's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer of all that content for, say, like 10 odd quid a month. You'd be nuts not to.
It's crazy value, isn't it? It's crazy value. People are so conditioned now for streaming services, and that's effectively what it is. Although you downloaded things, yes, you've got xCloud, but people have Netflix, people have Amazon Prime, and people are so used to something like this. And just to go back on your point, you know, you're saying about people thinking that it's bad for gamers and bad for the industry. These games wouldn't come on there if it was bad for the game. You know, the size of these games that go on there, it wouldn't happen, would it? I mean, I know, Alan, you said earlier on you've got absolutely zero interest in baseball whatsoever, and I don't think you had a huge amount to add on to this subject, really. But I mean, is there anything sort of other than what we've spoken about that you had?
I think everybody's covered the place. I think Tommy made some really good points, and I think that the only thing I would add is really this is like the seer that is Phil Spencer. You know that you know, I mean, they looked at how they were going, and they knew that they couldn't beat Sony on a console-to-console basis. That was never going to happen. The customer base for Sony PlayStation was too ingrained, too built in, and there was no way they were ever going to outsell them. So they said, how are we going to rectify this situation? And when Phil Spencer was talking about community, and he was talking about it in that way, this is exactly what he was talking about. And we're really seeing that push this year and the tail end of last year, where some of these big developers and these big companies are moving across to Game Pass. And as Tommy said, why would any developer want to make themselves an exclusive title to PlayStation when it's not just the Xbox, it's PC as well, it's Microsoft, it's you're not just talking about one console anymore, you're talking about a massive market share. More than probably 2/3 of the whole market share is going to be playing your game if you put it on Game Pass compared to putting it on a PlayStation. It makes absolutely no business sense. You're completely confining your target audience from the get-go. So Phil Spencer said, you know, we're going to create this community. He's absolutely right, and I think we're really all going to reap the benefits. All I can say is that the only people who are really upset, which is why we have this hashtag cancel Game Pass, is the Sony fan person community, because they see their most prized possession is now at risk with the amount of weight that's behind Game Pass and the Microsoft community as a whole. PlayStation is, I'm sorry, but it's almost an inevitability at this point. They will start to lose their market share because everybody will see the value in coming across to the Microsoft community and having a Game Pass and sitting there and playing all of these amazing titles, whether you're into sports games, whether you're into any sort of games, Bethesda games, they are going to be available for you on day one. As long as you're part of that community. And if you're in the PlayStation community, you're not going to see them for another year or 2 years. So I think it just indicative of the fruition of what Phil Spencer was going to happen. We're finally starting to see that now, and it's only going to get bigger as we move through this year and next.
Yeah, and I think that you make a really good point, both Tommy and yourself talking about the community side of things and the accessibility. Well, I think it's often forgotten about when we talk about this. I mean, it's not the best way to play it, but Game Pass isn't just you have to have a console or you have to have a PC. Game Pass is you have to have a phone or a tablet. You know, the accessibility there alone. You know, and then and let's just talk about places in the world where consoles are either really expensive or that you've only got enough finance to pay for one device. You know, one device in Game Pass is all these games. You know, that's so overlooked, I think, by a lot of people. And I mean, not every game goes to cloud. Let's be fair. But again, there was another announcement this week which we didn't touch on, but they're putting the 360 games onto cloud gaming now as well. So
that's huge.
So this is massive for Game Pass in terms of accessibility and stuff like that. And I think that accessibility piece is where Microsoft are going to shine. And you were right in what you say, Alan, where Microsoft went, we can't compete in console physical sales. What are we good at? And they're like, well, we make just shed loads of money in services. We're good on the web. Our infrastructure is better than Sony's. And they're so far ahead of the game on Sony at this point in the infrastructure part that it's not even funny. And the fact that Sony are going to be using Azure to power whatever offering they come up with, is testament to how strong Microsoft are. They're using a Microsoft service to facilitate this. You're 100% right. The future is going to be more service driven, 100%, no matter what anyone says. And you're right, Craig. Thanks to the rise of Netflix, you now look at Disney have moved away from selling physical media. They were kings of that. They're absolute kings of that. They're now all about a streaming service. You see HBO going in on it. You see all these different platforms springing up. It's crazy to think that, a few years ago, the only way to watch a movie at home was to go buy the DVD. You think about that, it feels so weird that was your only option was to go buy the DVD. Now you can just sit at home, do that. It's going to be the same with gaming. We all know it is. And whether it ends up being the Game Pass model or the Stadia model or the Luna model, we don't know. But that accessibility piece is so massive to why Game Pass makes sense for so many developers. It's just so many more eyes on your game potentially. And like I said, truthfully, no interest in MLB The Show. I would never, in a million years, would I have bought it. Not in a million years.
I will say,
if it's on Game Pass, I might download it.
Yeah, well, yeah, there is that. Yeah,
same.
I did try. I'm not allowed to talk about it because it breaks NDA, but I did play the technical test of it. So I have had a little dabble on it. So I do know what it's all about. Didn't understand what the hell I was doing because I don't understand baseball. I thought it was just like cricket, but it seems like it's a bit different.
Yeah.
I think it's very much for the American market, but I mean, it is big because it's one of the big three sports over there, isn't it? You've got your American football, you've got your hockey, and you've got your baseball. I mean, basketball, I suppose, as well. But
for years, it was called America's pastime, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I love what Chris just said because I have to say, I was looking through the Game Pass titles just a couple of days ago, and I noticed that all the NBA games were on there. And don't get me wrong, I've never played a basketball game to any real seriousness whatsoever. But I was kind of looking at it going, well, download one of those and give them a go. Why not? It doesn't cost me anything except time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why not?
If you didn't play NBA Jam on the Super Nintendo, you haven't lived. Just like to say.
NBA Jam.
I think I was too busy in college at the time, but
it was so good, man. So good. I don't like the sports games, but that was brilliant.
Cool stuff. Right. So, I actually wanted to talk a little bit more about something with Chris, actually. So, Chris has been mentioning recently he's had a few issues with, because I mean, Alan did his review on the Xbox headset, and Ratley's been having some issues with his Arctis 9X. Yeah, been having some issues there. Wouldn't it be nice if they could have like a really premium wireless Xbox headset, Ratley? Would that be good for you?
Mate, I tell you, if they could do that, I think I'd buy one.
Would you?
If I could do that, I think I'd buy one because, like I'm a bit of an audiophile. I like that. If it could, do you know what? And if it could play my music from my smartphone, so I didn't have to have another headset as well, that would be really fantastic.
Wow.
A really top-end one with really good quality.
What sort of audio company do you think would make a device like that? I mean, what's a renowned name in the industry that you can rely on for good sound quality?
I mean, one that always rings quality. Bang & Olufsen, they're not everyone knows about them, but they're a pretty good brand. My uncle used to have one, and I always remember thinking, this sounds great, and I'd love some Bang & Olufsen equipment.
I was stroking my beard in wonder, thinking, what could it possibly be?
That's a good thing. I remember a few years ago actually going past a shop where they actually sold them. You remember shops, where you went in and bought stuff. And I remember walking past, and in the window they had these Bang & Olufsen like stereos thing, and it was all the CDs, and you literally had these big units where you just put 6. And I thought they looked so swish, absolutely. And then I looked at the price tag, $3,000, and I was like, yeah, maybe next year. Yeah. I'll leave them this time, but
I remember shopping for some stuff once, and we were looking for, I think we were shopping for TVs at the time. My dad had some money to burn. We went into Bang & Olufsen to see what they had to offer because, like I say, you had money to burn. It was kind of this thing. And I was like, we're really thinking about Bang & Olufsen TV? But because my great uncle had one at the time, and it was a phenomenal TV. Like, he was so much better than anyone else's. But the guy was showing us like the tech and stuff. And they had a CD player which you waved your hand in front of the doors and like to open it. And that was like, it's like a magic eye. You load the CD in, but the highlight was he went, oh yeah, and this is the remote control for the system. We were like, okay, and he's like, so when you're in your cinema room at night, and we're like, cinema room, what the hell? It's like proper selling the high end stuff. He goes, and you want to watch the thing, but obviously you've got the lights down, so you can't see the remote. You put the remote down on the table, and like it was literally like put it flat, and then the front half it just lifts up and illuminates at like a 45-degree angle. And I was like, get out of here! That's just well cool. It like literally raises itself and sits there. I was like, that's bonkers cool, man. I just want
stuff you didn't even know you wanted until they showed it.
You know, and I've been suckered in by cool remotes in the past. I have to say, back in the day where remote controls were a thing, I got a Kenwood system because the remote had a screen on the front of it. You could control the stereo with. I was like, I'm having that because it's got a screen on the remote.
In Ratley's toilet, he's sitting down there, and when he needs it, out comes the toilet roll holder.
Are you watching me? But anyway, back on point.
Yeah. I don't think we've even got to the point yet. Sorry, what?
What do you ask me, mate?
Yeah. So you have ordered some new headphones, haven't you, Mr. Ratley?
I have. I bit the bullet. I've kind of I sat and I didn't. It wasn't an instant buy for me. I'm going to just clarify that right now because these are not cheap.
Yeah.
I just added up some things. I've still got a pair of Astro A50s which I don't use. I still got a pair of SteelSeries which I'm using now, which I'll move on. I've got a pair of Sony earbuds which I can't wear anymore for certain reasons. You don't know, but I just can't get them in my ears without being massively uncomfortable. You know, a few other bits and pieces I've got kicking around. And I was like, well, if I sell this stuff that's doing nothing and is getting me nothing, I've got enough money to buy these and I'll finally have something I can probably most likely be happy with and not moan about, right? And then I looked at a few other things. One thing that really swayed me was Bang & Olufsen give these things a 3-year warranty as well. And that for me,
I just have to give you a round of applause there for a fantastic line on explaining your reasons for how you can justify spending a ridiculous amount of money on a pair of headphones. Well done, Chris. You've done a bang-up job, my friend. Bang-up job.
I want to just point out the fact that you shouldn't buy something like, unless you've got bags of money, you shouldn't buy something like this because it's the new thing and it's cool. I really wanted them, but at first I was like, well, they're out of my price bracket 100%. And I just realised that I'm not going to be using this, not going to be using that. And I was like, well, I'll sell them. And I did a bit of research. I was like, well, yeah, I can afford it. I just have to be sensible for a change and not just hoard all the crap I don't use anymore.
Beans on toast for a month. Yeah.
Exactly, right? Yeah, that's exactly it, isn't it? If you're willing to make the sacrifice, you can have the cool things. But my hope is, and certainly from early indications, they're going to like fulfill my needs in their entirety. I know Bang & Olufsen headphones are exceptionally good. So I'm really excited for them. I wish I didn't have to spend as much money, but if it gives me an all-in-one solution, it lasts me a few years. And
how much exactly, Chris?
£450, sir.
Sorry, could you? And how much is the actual Xbox?
It's £450, sir.
Oh, okay. Just okay.
Yeah.
Just that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's one of these weird things. And I was talking about this with a friend of mine because we're both into like audio quality and we talk audio file stuff. He actually wears some AirPod Max, which I have to say, I'm not an Apple fan, but those things sound mega. But they are also very expensive. They're £550, so they want to sound mega because they're 550 quid headphones, right? And we were just talking about it and saying, you know, like it gets to a point where when you get past about 250 quid on headphones, which is a lot of money, right? Let's not cut that. If you spend £250 on headphones, you've bought really good headphones. And to get a significant leap in quality from 250 quid, you basically have to double it. You know, you have to go to 500 to 550 quid to get a significantly better sounding pair of headphones. And if you want to go above that, well, if you go above AirPods, about the only thing that really, really blows them away is Bang & Olufsen's H10s in Bluetooth noise cancelling.
You're not seriously going down the road of at the price point that they're at, it's actually good value for money.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all. They're not,
I was just worried for a second.
No, but my point is that you get to a point where you have to pay so much to upgrade your audio by a small amount that it becomes this obnoxiously large jump. So, like I say, if you want to go from AirPod Max and get a better pair of noise cancelling headphones, the Bang & Olufsen H95s are the only thing I've heard better, and they're £800. So you've got to spend another 350 quid. And I will tell you now that the sound quality improvement isn't like day and night. It's if you sit there and you listen and you're fussy and there are certain things you care about, you'll hear it. But most people will put them on their head and go, they both sound brilliant. Why would I spend the extra money? That's the truth of it, right? And it's going to be the same with these. Most people will put them on their head and go, I don't got the fuss about. But people who know and care, like I know Phil's would care as well, our normal guest, a normal panel member, he would normally go, he would be right with me going, yep, I absolutely get it. And I know that they're a silly investment for most people. And I would absolutely say to most people, buy the Xbox headset like Alan did. That's the sensible thing to do. It represents incredible value for money, that headset. I will say this: I've seen more and more reviews. I know more and more people with them. They all give it a bang up review and say, this thing is a fantastic value for money. And again, that has been said time and time again. These are like 180 quid new, these SteelSeries Arctic 9X, and almost every reviewer said, unless you're fussy, the Xbox ones will do just as well, sound almost as good, and cost like half the price. And I don't think that the people who are going to buy these headsets, like me, I just needed to justify how I could afford it. Like in terms of, could I actually raise the money to pay for these things? Because I haven't got like the money kicking around. But don't on a whim think 450 quid in the headset. Well, that'll be better, because most people will never be able to tell the difference.
You only need the one kidney.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly, right. Also, I will say this: they are also, by the looks of things, brilliantly built. Like Bang & Olufsen are known for their build quality. I'm not the most delicate of people. I'm a bit of a I'm not subtle or think you guys know this. So stuff has to be hard wearing. So I'm excited for them. I mean, I know they're silly money. What do you? I mean, I'm excited for them, but I know you guys probably have a very different take, especially Alan, because Alan's far more sensible. And
my wife Ellie would very much disagree with that statement. But I do have budget limitations because I have other priorities. But if I didn't have them, I'd probably be just as stupid with money as you and Phil are. But I have to say that for an £800 pair of headphones, if I spent that kind of money on a pair of headphones, I want to be able to hear my poor deceased mother talking to me when I wear them. For that price, I want to have a direct communication with heaven. No, it's my mother, probably hell. Bless her, love her, honestly, miss her terribly all the time. But yeah, she's probably down there. But for that sort of money, I don't know how to dig myself out now. I've gone too far down. But yeah, no, I mean, I've got no issue if that's your bag and you want to spend that kind of money. I mean, you look. I'm laughing about the price, and I'm laughing at the price comparisons of the Xbox. But at the same time, if you have the money, it's your money, it's your life. You spend it, you do what you want, you get nice
Make
stuff.
yourself happy.
You're going to spend an awful lot more money on your television that you're going to use to play your Xbox on than you are probably on the Xbox, to be fair, and nobody brings any. So that's your visual. So why should your audio not be of the same high quality, and why should you not, if you can afford it, spend the same sort of money? Me personally, if I had £450 to just not worry about, I probably would buy them. I probably would, because if they're that good, why not? Yeah, if I'm hoping possibly to maybe, if I get an insurance claim through, fingers crossed for me, people. But if that does happen, then I've got my eyes on a very snazzy big OLED TV, which I would never think of buying if in normal circumstances. But if I have the money, I will go for the high quality, and I'll be speaking to Craig about giving me recommendations for that piece of kit. So I have no quibble with that. I'm sure they'll be absolutely do a bang up job for that money quality. But I agree with your last sentiment as well. You don't have to stretch your bank account to buy them. The Xbox ones will do you just fine.
They're a fantastic headphone. I can't reinforce that point enough. Like, don't bandwagon jump and force yourself into a financial squeeze to get the Bang & Olufsen ones. Get yourself some Xbox ones. Enjoy them just as much, unless you are super fussy about audio. And if you are, you'll already look at this and gone and know whether they're for you or not. Like people who have seen the price and scoffed at it and gone, I would never spend £450 on a headset. You're never going to appreciate why they're 450 quid. So you'd never spend that money anyway. So I get it, but don't feel like because it's cool to buy them. They're not. It's not a mass market product.
So
ever.
Our guest Tommy has been sat very patiently, very quietly in the corner there, waiting for you guys to get your points on these headphones. Let's go over to him. What do you think? Have you got anything to add on this?
No, it's very much a case of, so for me personally, it's a case of I have to be kind of very budget conscious. So if I was to go out and get some headphones, which I was obviously said to you boys before the pod, that I'm kind of very interested in the Xbox the headset. But if it's a case of I had that capital, the thing is now I'm going to put my hands up and say, do you know what? I wouldn't know kind of what I'd be listening out for in a £450 pair of headphones and stuff like that. If I knew what I was trying to listen for and this, that, and the other, then I'll be a case of, do you know what? That'd be something could be a case of, right, I'm going to kind of save up and get them, because I've seen what they look like, obviously on video. They look absolutely beautiful. Like the people who obviously have used them, they're raving about them. they look absolutely incredible. The thing is, to me, is a case of I would worry personally about having something that's £450 on my head because it's very much a case. Obviously, you can use it with your phone, so you can kind of take out bits and pieces. But the thing is, like, I'm a dad, so I have my son, so I can just imagine like having them on. The next thing you know, my son comes along, puts his like chocolate covered fingers all over my £450 headset. I'll be like, okay.
Breathe.
Breathe. But it for people obviously who understand audio better in bits and pieces, and it's a case of like we all know, so B&O, they make incredible products. Like I've listened to some of the stuff and it sounds absolutely phenomenal. And so for me, it's a case of because I'm not sure what I'm listening to. I can't justify the money because it just can't. I'd listen to him and say, "This sounds amazing," but say someone like Chris who goes like he knows what he's listening for, he'd be like, "Oh, can you like, do you understand this?" I'm like, I'm just hearing music and I'm thinking it sounds amazing, so I'm kind of I'm good. But but as I say, I think it's a case of there'll be people out there, as I say, like Chris, or people. It's a case of who are not obviously wanting to kind of like. There's some people now just want to flash the cash just willy nilly, but there are people out there like I want something like I need and crave that like perfected sound. I want to hear the deeper tones or this, that, and the other, and then that's what they're going to get from a £450 headset.
Yeah,
like listening to Phil.
It's very much a case of if I had the money and it was just money burning a hole in my pocket, then I'll probably say, yeah, I'll probably join on the bandwagon and do it because they look absolutely incredible. But because I don't know what I'm listening to, I'm swaying more towards the Xbox headset because it's more budget.
It's totally valid.
It's the difference between buying a Casio and a Rolex. You don't buy them because the Casio doesn't tell the time any better. You buy it because Rolex is better quality and it has a good name associated with it, and it's what you.
Yeah.
Get this, Alan. Get this. I'll tell you a little story about that. I bought a flash once. I had an Omega Seamaster, the James Bond one, right? I bought it when Casino Royale comes out because I'd had an insurance claim come through, had a load of money, and I was like, do you know what? I've always wanted an Omega watch. I'm gonna buy one. So I bought one. And I never forget, I got it, and I was like wearing it. What happened? I was like, this thing is awesome. And I said to myself, I'm going to wear it for a month, then put it away. Never happened because it's just once you wear one, it's very difficult to not wear one. Like go to a cheap watch again, it's very difficult. Hard to explain why, but it's true. But I remember, like, after a few days, I was like, this thing keeps pretty shoddy time compared to my old watch, which was battery driven and that. And I was like, so I went to Jules and went, I don't know if this is normal, but it's not keeping the best of time. He went, oh, it won't. I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, they're handmade precision instruments, but they're not as precise as a digital watch, which will cost you £1 off the market. I'm like, what? This thing costs £2,500. I was like, it's like, you didn't tell me that before I bought the £2,500 watch that it keeps crappy time, did you? It wasn't. To be fair, it wasn't crappy time, but it would slip. You had to kind of just adjust it every so often. And you sometimes you pay for something like, and it's not what necessarily. So the Rolex and that don't keep as good time as a digital watch will, but there's something about Rolex. There's
it's
something about
jewelry,
these watches, that are something else. I mean, honestly, once you've worn it on your wrist for any length of time, trying to go back to a cheap watch.
Well, let's try and pull it back a little because we've gone completely off topic now, and we're running up to
just on Tommy's thing about like talking about sound quality. I literally have had those conversations. People go, "Can't you hear the?" They're like, no, and I'm like, how can you not hear this? Like, listen to that clarity up there. And they're like, no, and I'm just like, oh, stuff it. That is the pain of being an audiophile sometimes and trying to explain to somebody like why you spend that extra money to get the better quality. I'm like, sound the same as my headphones. Like, they don't.
Good stuff. Cool. Right. What we're going to do now, so we are starting to run a little short on time, but we do have a question from one of our listeners, which is Kimmy. And she sent me a message through on Twitter. And again, she likes to put these seasonal things out there. So it's Easter time. We're recording on the Saturday before Easter Sunday. And so she said she wants to know all our favourite Easter eggs. So I'm going to go across over. We'll try and keep it quite snappy, like I say, because we've still got the quiz to go through afterwards. And I have thought of something additional onto what I initially thought, because we found out just before that me and Alan came up with exactly the same Easter egg from a game full of Easter eggs. So I'm going to go to you first, Alan. Tell us that Easter egg that we both picked as our favourite.
Okay, so mine is Doom.
2016.
And this is 2016, so a fantastic game, one of my favourites. I think it's still, for me personally, I have more love for it than I do for Eternal. Eternal is fantastic, but I still, the feeling I had and the arcade mode, fantastic. And one of the things you had in Doom 2016 was you could actually search through the level, and there's loads of little secrets and things to hide anyway, not necessarily Easter eggs, but there was like a lever that you could find, and you'd pull a lever and it would open up a doorway to a little slice of the original Doom game. But that's not the Easter egg I'm going to talk about, but they were really cool. There was one on each level. Cool. And there was one level that I was walking through, and I just had this mega fight, defeated like 2 or 3 barons. I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling really, really tough now. And I thought, I'll just investigate the level, just see if I'm not missing anything. And I went behind this column, and there's this little guy sitting there on the floor, skeleton with an arrow in the knee. And I just stood there for a second, and I was just like, Bethesda, you cheeky little monkeys! That's genius! And that's my favourite Easter egg that I can remember, and Craig came up with the same one, and he gracefully let me choose it, and he picked another one. But that is just a fantastic, if you know the line from Skyrim, I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow in the knee, then that is it. That is just quality, in-joke Easter egg.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Bethesda ID.
Such a good one. Yeah, quality one. Thanks, Alan. Right, I'm going to go to Mr. Tommy Boy next. So, what's your favourite Easter egg?
It's a little one. It's the Scarab gun in Halo 2. And how much that was a mistake, looking at it for the first time, putting the trigger and blowing myself halfway across the map. I done with a friend of mine. It was a case of, we could take you to a sequence. Oh, okay, cool. Do the hard work, get there, and then it's basically just a plasma, like obviously an elite kind of like plasma gun. I was like, cool. He went, yeah, give it a go. And I thought, oh no, I'll point it down and like give it a go. And literally, what I didn't realise is that it not only did it blow me up, it blew him up, and literally it's a case of all that hard work you done, Tommy. We got to do it again now. I was like, oh good. Look at that. But having a game dev literally just stick something OP in regards to a weapon, be a case of, right, you can now go through the game like this level and just blow everything to smithereens.
Yeah.
Just don't get too close to the wall, the floor, anything else, because you will die. So for me, that was just like the whole initial doing the hard work, taking like literally like planning, prepping, like this is how we're going to do it. Okay, sweet. Get there, pull the trigger, and all the hard work, gone.
Yeah.
Absolutely gone.
Surprised.
Gone in a spray of red mist.
There are some great Easter eggs in Halo. There are some great.
Yeah, fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Ratley.
I mean, it's hard to pick a great Easter egg because there are some great ones. There's one in ODST I love. There's a few out there, but there's one game series where I found one myself, like not knowing about it, and it's quite commonplace now.
Aliens, Colonial Marines?
No, it's not, because that game is garbage. And we don't talk about it. There's actually 2 in Gears of War which I love. Actually, different Gears of War games. So Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 2. The Gears of War 3 one is a little bit trickier to trigger, but it's in a multiplayer map where there's all the Ashen people, and if you manage to get through the map without damaging any of those people one round, you complete a round with not having knocked over any of the Ash people. The next time you load into the map, the next round, the Mad World theme will play in the background, which is really cool. Well, you have to shoot something to go. It's not quite that simple, but yeah, there's a way to do it. That's really cool. But my favourite one is in Gears of War 2. It's one of these Easter eggs that no one really understands and no one really gets, but it's just great. Oh,
Alan's lost Alan again. He'll be back in a sec.
Yeah, Alan's back. Wait for the camera. Here he comes. There he is. Hey.
Don't mind. Just carry on, it's fine.
So there's in Gears of War 2, when you're invading the Nexus in Gears of War 2, there's a room you reach and like a big platform and a pillar on it. And if you walk up to that pillar and shoot it, bizarrely inside that pillar there's a toaster, and you can interact with a toaster. And you push the toaster down, and then it starts smoking. Toast pops out, and Marcus goes, "Who wants some toast?" And it's just like. It's one of those ridiculous Easter eggs that I don't know why it's in there. I don't know if there's any meaning to it. I've never seen a good explanation for it, but it's just fantastic that the Locust in their lair have a toaster enshrined on this platform. It's just ridiculous. I love it. It's so dumb.
I love that. Who wants some
Locust
toast?
are winning. Their favourite food is toast, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Locust did nothing wrong. Right? I just wanted toast. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you haven't seen it, it's great. You can go find it. It's in Gears of War 2. When you're invading the Nexus, you'll come to a platform. It's a big circular platform, and there's a pillar on the end of it, like a stand-up like thing. Just shoot that. The toaster will appear, and you can see that for yourself.
I'm going to have to check that out. Sounds awesome.
If you've never seen it, it's hilarious, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's funny. That's a very
found
good
on
one.
our first run through randomly, and it was just like, what the hell is this? Like, it just didn't make any sense at all. And we were just like, huh?
What about you, Craig? What's your favourite Easter egg?
Well, my favourite Easter egg's been taken, so I'm going to... No. The one I'm going to go into slightly differently, it was one I just thought off the top of my head. It's actually something I've been playing more recently, and something none of you will have experienced, because it's on the PlayStation 5. And they have Astrobot, which is like the built-in game that you just get for free with the console. And it's a really great little game. It's effectively like a very, very elaborate tech demo for the controller. But it's a really good, fun little platformer, and my son Josh, he plays it quite a bit as well. But it is absolutely stacked to the rafters with Easter eggs, whether that's for everything that you collect is like an artifact, so it is a different PlayStation controller or different PlayStation console or accessory throughout the years, different discs and bits like that, down to as you go through the level, you'll see like little film crews. They're all little robots, funny little robots, filming scenes and actually going over to each of these and trying to figure out which kind of classic PlayStation game they're filming a scene. So for example, you've got over in the distance, there was a bunch of little robots with red eyes chasing another robot that's on a motorbike with his baseball cap on backwards. His day's gone, the zombie one. Or you've got another robot hanging from a ledge with his gun holster on, like shooting and trying to climb, and it's like Uncharted. There's loads. There's another one where you've got this little cardboard box laying around and it just pops up, and there's one with a headband on, clearly Snake from Metal Gear Solid. So there's loads of little things on there. But you can go into the kind of main collections room, and down to like there's a table you go up to, and on this table there's a little robot sitting there with a PlayStation logo. But if you look over and look on the table, you can see every single iteration of the PlayStation logo that could have been. So all of their old designs, all the blueprints and stuff, which is really interesting to look at, and they're all similar in terms of what they were going for, but they're all very, very different colours, different shapes and stuff, the way they've done it. But there's loads and loads, and it's a really fun little game, but it is literally stacked to the rafters with cool little Easter eggs. But that was just one I thought off the top of my head. Not quite as funny as your guys' ones, but still well worth checking out. So
sorry, I stole yours.
That's all right, mate. That's fine. It's just coincidence that we thought, particularly in that game that is full of Easter eggs, that one particular Easter egg we both picked. Yeah.
Such a good one, though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Cool. Right.
And I want to honourable mention to Halo ADST's Easter egg at the end with the rocket launchers. If you haven't found that and you haven't played that, the Halo ADST 4-player. Have you done that one with the Easter egg where you go down underneath the subway right at the end, last mission, find the warthogs and the... Oh, mate, it's fantastic. So last mission of ADST, when you're making the run towards the thing, if you take a right down under this detour under an underpass, there's 2 warthogs, 4 rocket launchers, and all the rocket launchers have unlimited ammo. And when you sit on the warthogs and start running, the Halo theme plays, and you just gun into this last battle, like with unlimited rocket launchers going, have it! And it is just a blast. Right. The Halo theme kicks in, off you go, like letting rip with these rocket launchers.
I'm
so
down
good.
For that. Down for that.
Did you manage to complete it, Chris? Because that's a Bookmaster achievement, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
nice.
Great. It's really good, mate.
Check
really
that out.
Good.
Cool. Right. So, bit of a change on the normal. So, this week we're going to head into the quiz. However, Mr. Ratley is the quiz master for this week, so I'm going to join in. So, take it away, Mr. Ratley.
Highly prepared quiz here that I didn't rush just before the pod at all because I'd forgotten it. It's a thing. So I came up with this quiz. I was watching a documentary on a film, and I won't mention which film, but they talked about the tagline for the movie. So you see a poster in the tagline for it, and I was like, I reckon that could be quite fun to like give you some taglines from movies, and you buzz in and tell me what the movie is. Now, some of them will probably be very, very obvious. Some of these will not be so obvious.
Okay.
And some of them are kind of, it could be from numerous films, hopefully. So it'd be interesting to see. So we need a buzzer from everyone. So we'll start off with our resident guest, Mr. One, Tommy Gunn. He's going to give us a buzzer, please, sir.
I'm going to go with, I feel the need for speed.
Okay, very good. Very good. A bit of Top Gun love. And then we're going to go to Mr. Craig. Can I have a buzzer, please, sir?
Well, I'm going to go from the little-known film, which is Kung Pao Enter the Fist, and it's going to be...
Right, and Alan, can we have your powerful buzzer, please, sir?
So I was going to go for one with Kung Pao as well, but I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to go for one from Galaxy Quest. I'm going to go, by Grabthar's hammer, you shall be avenged. But I shall probably just shout, Grabthar's hammer.
I love it, love it, love a bit of Galaxy Quest. Love that film. Right, so you get the idea. I'm going to give you a tagline, and then I need you to tell me what the film is from. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Right, so number one. Fingers on, buzzers at the ready. Life is one long, insane trip. Some people just have better directions.
Ooh. Life is...
Some of these aren't easy, I'll be honest. Some of them are obvious. First two are quite tricky, I'll be honest.
No idea. No idea.
No idea?
By Grabthar's hammer.
Go on then.
Need for Speed.
No. It'll make sense when you know the film. You'll be like, oh, okay, I can see where they came from. Everyone happy they don't know it?
Yeah, no.
So that's Donnie Darko.
Oh, yeah.
That's a really, really rubbish tagline.
So number two, as I say, this next film I love, but I would never have got this from the tagline. So this is a tough one. Innocence has a power evil cannot imagine. I'll give you a clue on this one if you think you need it. Okay, Craig.
Ghostbusters?
No. Sorry, mate.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
Ghostbusters 2.
No, sir, it's not. Right, I'll give you a clue. A two-stage clue. It's not an English language film.
Mm.
And it's directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Oh God! I forgot the name of it.
Craig?
Pan's Labyrinth?
Go, Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That was a stab in the dark. I mean...
No, it was the minute he said Guillermo del Toro, it had to be Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal... If you haven't seen Pan's Labyrinth, people, you need to watch Pan's Labyrinth because that film is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I genuinely can't say enough good things about Pan's Labyrinth. Just genuinely, it's absolutely bonkers good. So that's 1 point for Mr. Craig. I'm going to put him on the score there. Right. So number three. Ready for this one? Because I expect this one to go relatively quick. Every generation has a legend. Every journey has a first step. Every saga has a beginning.
Oh my God, that sounds so familiar, but where's it from? Oh my word.
These are movies, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every generation has a legend. Every journey has a first step. Every saga has a beginning.
It's totally got to be a prequel.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
The Hobbit.
No, sorry, man. Good thinking, though. Craig?
Oh, no, it's a quote, isn't it? No, it's not a tagline. No. Is it a tagline from the
So
movie?
It's a movie tagline. You might see it on a poster.
Yeah,
or an
right, okay.
advert.
So, Phantom Menace?
It is indeed Star Wars Episode 1.
yes!
Oh no! I was thinking Star Wars. But I just couldn't. But nicely done.
Yeah, I was kind of checked myself then because I was like, well, they definitely don't say that in the film, but it sounds like something that would be on the poster.
Yeah, I remember that poster and being like, because it was the poster. The first time I saw it was on the poster with the Anakin with the Darth Vader shadow.
Yeah.
So, question number 4, then, guys. In Heroes We Trust. Craig.
Avengers.
No.
That's a bit on the nose, that one.
Yeah.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
Watchmen.
No. This one is a tough one because you're one of you has been really in the ballpark, but it's going to be picking one film out of like so many.
I think we need maybe a clue then.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a trilogy for this character.
Grabthar's hammer.
Oh, Alan?
Iron Man 2.
No, it's not Iron Man 2. This character, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. This is probably, in my opinion, the best two of the three. And it's the middle one.
Hey!
Craig.
Thor: The Dark World?
The best one?
He's got weird taste. Like, he doesn't like Ragnarok.
Rubbish, mate. Thor is the best one of the three, but we and I have nothing else. But Dark World is rubbish.
Yes,
No World is 2, the best in anything ever.
Mate, you said you didn't like Ragnarok. I can't get my head around that. So,
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
Batman versus Superman.
No. But I can see where you go with that.
So there's I don't know. Spider-Man Homecoming.
No.
I don't know.
Grabthar's hammer.
I'm disappointed in you guys. Not one of you coming to this character. Go on, Alan.
Grabthar's hammer. Spider-Man 2.
No.
It is the best one. It's got Doc Ock in it.
Agree, definitely.
I know which one it is. It is Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
It is indeed
Yes,
Captain America.
it just twigged which one Chris was talking about.
Yeah.
That is a good film.
I was picturing Captain America. Then Chris says like you're kind of not in the right area. I think, oh no, it's not. It's not going to be Captain America then.
Okay. If you don't get this one, all of you don't get this one, I will disown a lot of you on the spot, just as an FYI, because this one is so easy, like it's ridiculous.
No pressure then.
If it doesn't go after the second word, I'll be amazed. Let's put it that way. It might even go on the first word. In space. No. That'll be Alan.
Alien.
It is indeed Alien.
I got one.
Well done, mate.
I was going to say the next one. If you don't get the next one, you're all disowned as well, right? Because the first word gives you this one, hands down. Spartan.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
I don't know because I didn't hear what you said.
Tommy.
300.
It is 300, yes, Tommy.
I was so busy saying Grabthar's hammer, I had to like splat, and that's all I heard.
Oh, sorry. That was great, Alan. Thank you for that moment, mate. So this is question number 7. Okay. So sorry, to gather myself. Question number 7. This time it's personal. I promise you'll be stunned with this one.
I'm sure or am I thinking of? I think I'm thinking of a fake movie tagline. Something to this time it's a personal.
Mario, the sequel.
Mario 2, Luigi's Return.
Yeah, this time it's personal. I don't know.
This is the movie that inspired this quiz, by the way, because I was like, that's incredible for a tagline for this film.
The thing is, I can. It sounds very familiar, but I can't.
Yeah, I know the tagline.
It's one of the most ridiculed taglines in cinema history, which is probably why you know it.
I feel the need for speed.
Tommy.
I'm gonna be completely wrong. Is it like something like Kill Bill?
No, it's not. But good. See the reasoning. Good guess.
Godfather 2.
Craig. No, it's not Godfather 2. Sorry, mate.
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
No, it's not.
Right,
okay, I'll give you a
clue.
I'll give you a clue. I think the best way to word this. It is the 4th film in a series of films, and it killed the franchise.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alien. Alan. Not Alien. Alan.
Alien 4.
No.
So not Alien Resurrection then?
Wasn't a Freudian slip, so don't worry.
So the 4th film.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan?
I've got another one for you. Lethal Weapon 4.
No. Good guess, though.
That's actually really good. I like the Lethal Weapons.
Yeah.
They're really good.
Nah, no idea.
I feel the need for speed.
Tommy?
I think I've got a feeling it's the Fast and the Furious.
Mate, they're up to like Fast and the Furious 96 million now, so it definitely isn't the 4th one that killed the franchise.
No idea.
Grabthar's hammer.
Oh, Alan, go on.
Star Trek Insurrection.
No. But again, good reasoning. Do you want to know what this classic tagline is from? A movie that you'll be like, wow, I can't believe that's the tagline for this movie because it's such
Toy
a
Story
dumb
4,
hit for this
isn't it?
movie. It's not Toy Story 4, no. So this tagline is from Jaws 4: The Revenge.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
Oh, what?
Which is a terrible film, I'd just like to point out.
Isn't it the second cousin of the original shark who's really upset about what happened and comes back to kill everybody?
It's like that.
Yeah.
You can see it, the shark mafia, like, he killed my boy. You must avenge him. It's like, you know.
Man.
So yeah, that's Jaws 4. I watched this documentary and it got to the bit about the tagline. I was like, oh my God, you had forgotten how dumb the tagline for this movie is, you know, because it's so stupid. But yeah, anyway. So this one, let's look at question number 8. Okay, guys? Here we go. The tagline is, an entire universe, once and for all.
Whoa. These are tough, man. These are tough.
Yeah, but you can think about this one. You can get it. You can get it. I'm sure you can. It's quite a recent movie. Big movie. Big film. I know you've seen it.
Grabthar's hammer.
Alan.
Interstellar.
No. Good thinking.
Hey.
Craig.
Valerian, the city of 1,000 planets, or whatever it's called.
What, it's a massive film. I mean, massive movie. Like an event movie. It's really genuinely
Do the
event.
tag again.
An entire universe, once and for all.
Hey.
Craig.
Endgame.
No. Craig.
Could it be Rise of Skywalker?
No. I will tell you this, there has been a guess that was so painfully close it was unreal.
I've forgotten what we guessed so far.
I've got an idea where what universe it's in, but I can't think of the film.
A clue?
So, it was the first part of a 2-part movie.
Grabthar's hammer.
Ooh, I think Craig edged that by like a millisecond, Alan. But
Infinity War?
Alan. It is Infinity War. Sorry,
Jeez Louise.
Yeah.
As if I was that close.
You were that close, mate. This one, question number 9. One will fall.
That's very familiar. Hey.
Craig.
Godzilla versus Kong?
It is indeed Godzilla versus Kong.
Nice.
But we won't be there to see it.
Yeah.
But the final question, so question number 10, is another sitter, and I expect everyone to get this. So fast on buzzers, all right, guys?
Not too fast, Alan.
Well, if you are fast, just listen.
Yeah. Hey!
Didn't even start, Craig. So you do you want to take a guess?
No. Aliens.
No. Bonus point if anyone can tell me the tagline for Aliens.
They're back.
No, that's Poltergeist 2, which is
Was
awful.
it? Oh, yeah.
There's more than one of them.
How do you not know the tagline for Aliens? It's so good.
Go on.
It's this time it's war. Come on.
Of course. Yeah.
Like this time, it's a personal.
It's Mario versus the aliens.
Aliens versus the mob. It's a personal.
So the last question then, guys. Welcome to the real world.
For the Need for Speed?
I'm going to give it to Tommy because he got his buzzer in first, Alan. Sorry, dude.
Oh, I might regret it. The Matrix?
It is the Matrix.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
In.
Is that what you were going to go for, Alan?
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
I'm going to give it a point as well because it actually makes no difference to the overall scores. Because I feel bad because that was a close run thing. So the scores are Alan and Tommy on 2 each with, we'll call that one a tie, and Craig walked that with 5. So well done.
Oh,
Some easy ones.
This is why we always get him to host the quiz.
Yeah.
That was quality, mate. No, thanks for that.
absolutely.
That was really good, Chris. Really good. Not bad for a quiz you threw up in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It was really
mate.
good. I had this great idea, and I was going to do way more. But I knew some of the films I wanted to put in, but I found out some of them have got really weird taglines that make absolutely no sense, or are so unbelievably generic, it's unreal. It's like, And then some of them, like Spartans Tonight We Dine in Hell. If you can't guess the film from Spartans Tonight We Dine in Hell, there's something seriously wrong there.
That's help if you can hear it, but yeah.
Oh.
I'm too busy talking over you.
That's your own fault.
I know. I'm not blaming anybody.
Cool. Right. Well, that's been another chonker of an episode. It was quite a long one, but it's worth it because we got to learn a little bit about Mr. Tommy. And
welcome to the pod, man.
Yeah,
Good
man.
to have you.
Yeah, thank you ever so much for.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, mate. It's been really nice to hear your opinions on stuff and that. And I guess we. Really, at the point where we're going to say goodbye to everyone. So,
can I just say goodbye to Alan's mug because I love Alan's mug. Alan's mug is just it's a highlight of today's pod for me.
Quality stuff, right? That's a bye from me. It's a bye from Tommy.
Ta-ta!
That's a bye from Ratley,
I'll see you guys soon.
and it's a bye from Al.
Never retreat, never surrender.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.